third graders. Today we're going to be talking about stress management. But before we begin our new topic and our last topic, we are going to do a little bit of review. So last time we talked about the effects of alcohol and the effects of nicotine. Okay, so remember, both of those are a drug, right? Alcohol's a drug, tobacco products are a drug, nicotine is in tobacco products, right? So we want to make sure that we're saying no to those things because we are still growing, right? Adults can have alcohol, they can smoke cigarettes, but that doesn't mean that it's healthy for you, okay? So we want to make sure that we're saying no to those things and we're putting healthy things into our bodies. So alcohol can be dangerous for our bodies, for children, because you're still growing, you're still developing. Our brains are still growing. Some adults may choose to drink alcohol, but because your bodies and brains are still growing and developing, it's not safe for kids to drink alcohol. So over the past several weeks, we've been talking about Otto and how different a robot is from a person. We're going to start today with you pretending to be a robot. So, what I want you guys to do right now, okay? I want you to imagine you are stiff as a robot. This activity will help you feel the difference between being tensed and relaxed. You will stay in your seats while we do this activity. So imagine you are stiff as a robot. Hold your arms out straight. Tighten your fist and your arms. Lock those elbows. Now hold the tension as I count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We call this feeling tense. Now let go of that tension. Unlock your arms, put your arms down. Which emotions can cause us to feel tense? Possibly feeling worried, right? Feeling scared, mad, or angry. That's right. We might feel tense if we are nervous, worried, scared, or even angry about something. Okay, so these pictures all show someone feeling tense, right? So this gentleman here is scared. She's worried up here. Maybe she's worried about her test. And the guy from Inside Out here is angry. Okay, so these are all examples of feeling tense. So now what I would like you guys to do, I want you to imagine you are a rag doll, like the picture shows here. Let your hands and arms go limp and floppy. Dangle your hands. We call this feeling relaxed. What does it mean to be relaxed? Well, it means to be calm, right? To rest, to take a break. That's right. When someone is relaxed, they are calm. So which feels better, you think? Being tense like Otto or feeling relaxed like a rag doll? Right, we want to feel relaxed like the rag doll. So now imagine you are a robot like Otto again. Stiffen your legs, tighten and curl your toes, and lock your knees. Hold the tension as I count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let your feet and legs go limp and floppy like a rag doll. Which feels better? Again, floppy like a rag doll. Now tighten the muscles on your face. Press your lips together and squeeze your eyes shut. Wrinkle your forehead. Tighten your neck and shoulders by pulling your shoulders up toward your ears. Hold the tension as I count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let your head and shoulders go limp and floppy like a rag doll. Which feels better? Limp and floppy like the rag doll, right? Good job. This time I want you to make your whole body stiff like Otto. Tighten your whole body. Start with your hands and arms. Keep them tight. And now tighten your legs and feet. Tighten your face and your shoulders. Imagine you are made of steel. You are as stiff as a robot. Hold that tension as I count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release that tension. Which feels better, being tense or relaxed? Okay, so we all know that it feels better to be relaxed, right? Rather than tense. So when something happens that causes our muscles to start to tighten and we feel stiff like a robot, we may say we are stressed or stressed out. How many of you have heard of the word stress before? I'm going to assume a lot of you have. Stress is an emotional pressure that we feel when we are worried, upset, overwhelmed, or anxious about something. Stress doesn't come from pretending to be a robot. People feel stress when there's too much to do and too little time to do it. Have you ever felt this way? I'm sure you guys have. I have. So I want you to think right now about what might cause you to feel worried or overwhelmed. So think, what is something that might cause you to feel worried or feel overwhelmed? Okay, that's right. Taking a test, arguing with friends, having too much to do, family problems, these are things that can cause us to feel tense and overwhelmed. So imagine you need to do your math homework. Go to soccer practice, clean your room, write your book report. There's so much to do, but you do not know where to start. The more you think about what you have to do, the more you worry about not being able to get it done. You feel yourself getting tenser throughout the day until your muscles feel like they are tied up in knots. So let's see if you can identify other things that might cause you to worry or feel overwhelmed. So we're going to read a story called Scheduled for Meltdown. Okay, I'm going to read this story, and it's about a junior scientist named Fred, who lives in a distant galaxy on a planet called Really Planet. So every junior scientist on Really Planet competes to become an ace scientist. The junior scientist must build a robotic flight machine that can travel to another planet. This is every junior scientist's goal, and achieving it is hard. As I tell you Fred's story, listen to his stressors. Think about how much pressure you would feel in the same situation. Okay, so here we go. Remember, my students, any junior scientist who's ever become an ace scientist didn't get their flight machine to launch by luck. They had to really plan it. Professor Ellis paused for laughter, but no one laughed, especially not Fred. Instead, he wiped sweat from his forehead and wiggled his toes as he waited for Professor Ellis to announce the new flight schedule. Fred really did plan the construction of his robotic flight machine, but he didn't plan for mistakes. Last week he was in such a hurry installing the induction reducer that he bent the gravity sensor frame. If that sensor isn't attached properly, the machine won't fly upright. He's been working to repair the part, but it's one more thing he has to get done before the launch. How stressed would you be if you were Fred and you felt like you needed more time to get things done? So how stressed do you think you would be? And I will say this, guys. Everybody feels stressed differently. So some of you might be really, really stressed if you were Fred right now, but some of you might not, okay? So everybody handles that tension differently, okay? So somebody might not feel as stressed as somebody else would. Okay, so let's continue. As you know, last week's launch of the Moonwalkers was canceled, so the launch date for your flight machine has been moved up. Be ready to launch it in 2 weeks. Fred gasped as he squirmed in his chair. 2 weeks? His heart started beating faster. I wasn't supposed to launch this for another month. I'll never finish my flight machine in time. How much pressure would you feel if you just found out a big project was due sooner than expected? Personally, I would feel extremely stressed, okay? Because not knowing that you have a project due sooner than you thought, now your whole schedule's got to change, okay? So me, personally, I would be really, really stressed. I would have those sweaty palms, that racing heart rate. I'd be worrying, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Okay? But some people might be like, oh, that's nice. I'm glad that it's due sooner so I can, hand it in sooner and get my grade back sooner. So again, everybody has different levels of stress with the same situation, okay? Not everybody has the same stress. All right, or feels the same, okay? Fred returned to his half-finished flight machine. He wiped his sweaty palms on his pants. See, Fred had sweaty palms too, just like I would. He rolled up his sleeves and got started installing the new gravity sensor frame. I can't take any more setbacks, said Fred as he wiggled his toes. Fred took a deep breath, and just as he aligned the tiny screwdriver to the teeny tiny screw to attach the sensory frame, a shadow blocked his light. Frustrated, Fred looked over his shoulder to find Professor Ellis, also known as Professor Space Invader, hovering over him and watching him work. How tense would you feel if you were Fred in this situation? I would feel really tense. When somebody is watching me, and if I make a mistake, then I'm going to be even more worried, okay? But some people might not feel that way. Some people might enjoy having somebody watch over them to give them support and guidance. Okay, so let's continue. The gravity sensor frame fit perfectly. It looks like I'm ready to conduct the final system check, Fred said as he wiggled his toes. He connected the battery pack and ran the check. While that's running, I've got to fix these socks. They're bunched under my toes. I've been trying to ignore it, but it's driving me crazy. Just as Fred took off his shoes, he heard a snap and then a loud pop and a sizzle. The power distribution model shortened out. His robotic flight machine was toast. How stressed would you be in this situation if your project is doomed right before the deadline? I would be extremely stressed. I probably would start crying because I would be so upset and worried that now I'm not going to get a grade for this project that I worked so hard on. Okay, so let's finish the rest of the story. No, Fred yelled as he dropped to the floor in disbelief. He picked up his shoe and his teeny tiny screwdriver and threw them across the room. Maybe that will count as a successful launch, grumbled Fred. Professor Ellis wasn't laughing. Fred's unsportsmanlike behavior disqualified him from this year's competition. This was a stressful series of events. Some of what went wrong was out of Fred's control, but he could have kept his cool and managed his stress. Does everyone feel stressed sometimes? Yes, we all do. Everyone has ups and downs. Does everyone get stressed about the same thing? No, like I was saying before, everyone's different. They do not get stressed about the same thing. What causes one person stress may not be a big deal to someone else. Everybody's stress is different. Your stress will be different tomorrow or maybe even later today. So let's talk for a minute about these physical effects of stress, okay? So have you ever heard of butterflies in your stomach? That could be a good feeling, like you're excited, or it could also mean, oh, I'm a little nervous, I'm a little tense, I'm a little overwhelmed here. Okay, so physical effects of stress. You're going to have a trembling voice, trembling mouth, lump in throat, sweaty hands, stuttering, stomach ache, shaky legs. You might need to go to the bathroom, possibly get goosebumps, have that rapping heartbeat, red rosy cheeks. You might even have a headache, okay? These are all body signals to pay attention to and can tell you how you are feeling, if you're feeling tense, or in other words, if you're feeling stressed. So, can stress make you sick? Yes, it sure can. Constant stress can cause our immune systems to function poorly. When our immune system is ineffective, meaning not working properly, our bodies can catch whatever illness is circulating around us. Stress can be harmful to our health. That is why it's very important that we learn how to cope with our stress in our lives. So let's talk about how to cope. All right, so these three individuals, they look a little stressed, right? Okay, got the hands on the head, smoke's coming out of our ears. They are extremely stressed. So how are we going to cope with this stress in a healthy way? Well, one technique is to take deep breaths. So let's pause for a minute, guys. I want to practice this technique with you. Okay, so relax your shoulders. If they're tense, wiggle them out. Remember, be like that rag doll. Have those floppy arms, okay? All right, in a few seconds here, we're going to take 3 deep breaths in our nose and out through our mouth, okay? So make sure you're relaxed, kind of wiggle it out, okay? Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Okay, we're in our seats still. Okay, take a deep breath in through your nose. Out through your mouth. In through your nose. Out through your mouth. One more time. Deep breath in. Okay, good job, okay? Deep breathing can help you feel calm. Okay, this is a video. If you guys have time, feel free to watch it. It's just going to show you what stress does to your body. Okay, and this is another activity too. Feel free to do this as well. You're just going to have to hit the link and play the video. So this is just a breathing exercise. You breathe in as the fish floats up, and then you take a deep breath out as the fish floats down. All right, another technique you can do is stretching, okay? When someone is under stress, their muscles may get tight and painful, especially in their neck and back. Stretching your body can help you calm down. So I encourage you guys to use deep breathing and stretching as coping techniques. But that's not all, class. There's a lot more that you can do in order to help your body calm down. So let's talk about that. Okay, so these are some healthy ways to cope with stress. So we can take deep breaths. We can also stretch, okay? But there's more to that. There's other things that we can do. We don't have to just take deep breaths and we don't have to just stretch. There's a lot you can do to help relieve stress in a healthy way. So first, you can't really see it, we can laugh, okay? Laughing reduces so much stress, okay? It makes us feel good when we laugh. We can also get a hug, okay? This one's one of my favorites. Listen to music. Okay, these are all healthy things you can do to reduce stress, to cope with stress. Look at the clouds. This is another one of my favorites. Not necessarily looking at the clouds, but being in nature, hearing those birds chirp. That is the best for me anyways. Some of us might like playing video games, okay? That can be a good way to cope with some stress. Have some fun playing your video games. Or maybe perhaps bake some cookies. Blow bubbles. Anything that makes you guys feel better, as long as it's healthy, okay? So some unhealthy coping strategies to deal with stress would be using drugs, right? That is not the healthy option, okay? We want to make sure that we're choosing the healthy option, okay? Maybe take a nap, read a book, okay? These are healthy ways to cope with stress. Or talk to somebody. Talk to somebody who you care about, who cares about you. Or this is another good one. Pet your dog. That is a great way to relieve stress. Okay? All right. Okay, quickly before I congratulate you guys, let's go over a few more healthy ways to cope with stress. Okay? So we could pet your dog. That's a good healthy way to reduce your stress. We could play with friends. Draw a picture. We could sing. Write in your journal. This one is one of my favorites. We can also go for a walk. Laugh. Laughing's good. That reduces stress. It makes you feel relaxed and calm. Get a hug. Listen to music. This is another one of my favorites. Okay, so these are all healthy ways to cope with stress, okay? Unhealthy ways would be yelling and kicking and using drugs and alcohol to cope with stress. Those are unhealthy ways. So we want to stick with the healthy ways. For example, maybe playing a video game. That is healthy, right? You have fun doing that. Or perhaps maybe bake some cookies. Okay, these are all healthy ways. So that wraps up our last lesson of SCAZA for this year. So I just want to thank you guys and congratulate you on completing our 8 lessons this year. You guys all did an awesome job, so thank you. And just remember that we want to make sure we're setting reachable goals, right? Realistic goals. What is a goal? It's something that we want to achieve in the near future. We want to make sure we're making those responsible, healthy decisions, right? We want to make sure we're stopping, we're thinking, then we act, and then we reflect before we make serious decisions. We also want to make sure that we tell people how we feel, so we are effectively communicating. We want to make sure we use those peer pressure refusal strategies to say no to negative peer pressure. We want to also remember to put healthy things in our bodies, right? We want to make sure that we aren't putting unhealthy things in our bodies that will impact our ability to grow and be successful throughout our lives. Okay, so remember to stay healthy, okay? And do what's best for you guys, not what's best for your friends, okay? So awesome job. I really appreciate you guys participating, and I look forward to seeing you next year. And remember to use these healthy activities so you will feel calm and more relaxed, okay? So if you have any questions, again, please email us and we'd love to hear from you. Enjoy the rest of your year, guys.